A very high temperature, ugly spat has broken out in Chennai since yesterday, and it is gathering pace and escalating. And it couldn't get bigger than this. On the one side is superstar Kamal Haasan. On the other side is the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu himself. And the AIADMK, which is the ruling party, has now trained its guns on Kamal Haasan for daring to claim that that's Kamal, is the successor of MGR. MGR, as you know, is the superstar former Chief Minister who founded the AIADMK. In a strongly worded editorial in the party mouthpiece, the AIADMK says that Kamal has been trying to appropriate AIADMK founder MGR's legacy, and this could be compared to trying to add your neighbor's name to your own name. Well, this comes after Palaniswami, the Chief Minister, lashed out at Kamal Haasan yesterday, saying that those who host a show like Bigg Boss cannot help people of Tamil Nadu, and instead all that they can actually do is spoil good families. Kamal Haasan has retaliated sharply and sarcastically, saying that he's happy to learn that the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu watches Bigg Boss on TV. Well, this ugly, sarcastic, sardonic war of words started after Kamal Haasan recently staked claim to MGR's legacy, saying that is Kamal Haasan, is MGR's true successor. The AIADMK has also taken on Rajinikanth, the other big superstar entering politics, over his comment in 2018 that he would deliver MGR-like governance, though he did say that nobody can actually take on MGR's mantle. AIADMK has hit out at Rajini, saying, if you want to deliver MGR-like governance and follow his ideals, why not join our party?
யாரை பத்தி சொல்றீங்க? எம்ஜிஆர் அவர்களை பற்றி சொல்கிறீர்களா, என்னை பற்றி சொல்றீங்களா? சரி, என்ன ரெண்டும் கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரே இனத்தை சேர்ந்தவர்கள் தான். நடிகர் இனம் என்று சொல்லிக் கொண்டால் அதையும் பார்க்க வருவாங்க, அதை தாண்டியும் பார்ப்பார்கள். அப்படி பார்த்ததனால் தான் அவர் புரட்சி தலைவரானார். கரப்ஷன் இல்லாத கவர்மெண்ட், அதாவது நான் ஒரு கமிஷன் ராஜ்யமாக மாறிவிட்டது என்று சொல்லிக் கொண்டிருந்தேன். அதை மிஷன் ஓரியன்டாக ஆக்க வேண்டும், ஒரு லட்சியத்தை நோக்கிய பயணமாகவும். எம்ஜிஆர் அவர்கள், உனக்கு ஏதாவது அரசியல் ஆசை இருக்கா என்று கேட்டார். ஒரு கிட்டத்தட்ட 36-37 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி, அதற்கு முன்பாக நினைக்கிறேன். அப்ப நான் சொன்னது அதான் நீங்க இருக்கீங்களே, நாங்க எங்க வேலையை பார்த்துட்டு போறோம் அப்படின்னு ஜோக் அடிச்சேன் நான். அப்ப நான் நினைத்து கூட பார்க்கவில்லை என்பது உண்மைதான்.
ரிட்டையர் ஆகி வந்திருக்காரு, அவருக்கு என்ன வயசாகுது? 70 வயசுல பிக் பாஸ் நடத்திட்டு இருக்காரு. பிக் பாஸ் நடத்துறவெல்லாம் அரசியல் செஞ்சா எப்படி இருக்கும்? வீட்டுல இருக்கிற ஒரு குடும்பம் கூட நல்லா இருக்காது இதை பார்த்துட்டான். அப்படிப்பட்ட தலைவர் சொல்ற கருத்தை நீங்க சொல்லுங்களா? சொல்லுங்க பார்க்கலாம். நீங்க பிக் பாஸ் தெரியுமில்ல உங்களுக்கு, எல்லாமே தொலைக்காட்சியில தான். உங்க தொலைக்காட்சியில் வந்திருக்கிறீங்க, அது விஜய் தொலைக்காட்சியிலேயே காட்டிட்டு இருக்காங்களா? அதுல என்னங்க இருக்கு சொல்லுங்க பார்க்கலாம். அதை போய் நடத்திட்டு இருக்காரு. அவரு ஒரு கட்சிக்கு தலைவர் சொல்லி அவருடைய சொல்றா, நீங்க கேள்வி கேட்கறீங்களே.
சத்தியமாக யாரோ எம்ஜிஆர் ஆக முடியாது. எம்ஜிஆர் ஒரு யுக புருஷர். ஆனால் அவரு கொடுத்த அந்த நல்லாட்சி, அந்த ஏழைகளுக்கான ஆட்சி, சாமானிய மக்களுக்கான ஆட்சி, மத்தியஸ்தர குடும்பங்களுக்கான ஆட்சி என்னால கொடுக்க முடியுங்கிற நம்பிக்கை எனக்கு. தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு ஒரு தலைமை தேவை, ஒரு தலைவர் தேவை. அந்த இடத்தை நான் ஏற்படுத்த நான் வர்றேன்.
Now, there have been lots of superstars in Tamil Nadu politics, but MGR was the original. In fact, not just in Tamil Nadu, but all of India, the first big film star to become a chief minister. But why is MGR's legacy actually important? I mean, it's been 34 years since the iconic star of Tamil cinema and former chief minister passed away. He died in 87. But why is it that his legacy is still so important, that you've got superstars who are now taking the plunge, are actually invoking him non-stop almost every single day? Reason one, he was the one who actually cleared the path. He proved that there can be a successful transition from the world of cinema to the world of politics. Super successful in both things. Reason number two, he's considered one of the most successful chief ministers of Tamil Nadu between 1977 and 1987, even though there was a 6-month period in between when there was governor's rule. Reason number three, huge cadre and fan base. He was able to convert his fan base into a voter base, something that both Kamal and Rajini are trying to do now. Even today, MGR commands that kind of respect. He's long gone. It's been 34 years since he died. Reason number four, he launched a lot of populist schemes which have become in many ways typical of Tamil Nadu politics, the welfare politics of Tamil Nadu that was taken forward by his successor, Jayalalitha. Reason number 5, till his dying day, he had a corruption-free image, and that is something that the AIADMK prizes very dearly. There was a lot of controversies later with Jayalalitha, but as far as MGR is concerned, it is considered that he had a completely corruption-free image. It's something they hold on to very dearly. Now I'm going to take you to my guests who are joining us live from Chennai, because the MGR legacy is something that is emotive. It's something, gets people very touchy, and like I've explained to you, it's not surprising at all. Joining me live now, Narayan Lakshman, senior journalist, Apsara Reddy, spokesperson with the AIADMK, and CK Kumaravel, who is the general secretary of Kamal Haasan's MNM. Thanks very, very much for all of you for being with me. Apsara, I'd like to come to you first, because we've seen the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, in a very uncharacteristic way, he's lashed out at Kamal Haasan. He said, you host Bigg Boss, who are you to try and assume MGR's legacy? Why is he so angry? I mean, Kamal Haasan just came out and said, I'm the true successor.
First of all, I think the Chief Minister, what he's trying to convey is that we need people who mean well for the people, not just usurp the legacy of the AIADMK's icon, who's Mr. MGR. Mr. MGR started this political movement and grew up the political movement and political ladder step by step. If you look at Kamal Haasan's interview recently, even to a vernacular press, to a TV channel, he says, I don't want to be Chief Minister multiple times, but I want to be at least Chief Minister once. So before he began his political journey or any political innings, he's aiming for the Chief Minister's chair. Be it Mr. Karunanidhi, be it Mr. Palaniswami or Madam Jayalalitha, they all rose in political stature step by step. These superstars with punch dialogues cannot crack it with the people unless they really have that kind of empathy with people. Where has Mr. Kamal Haasan gone to every district? Does he understand the nuances of grassroots level politics? Even when he goes to the Ennore port, he goes mic'd up with cameras. Where is the empathy and where is that kind of MGR kind of touch of warmth and sensitivity? And he also makes these really lofty declarations of having multiple headquarters for his party, multiple capitals for Tamil Nadu. First, let the ballot speak for itself. In Tamil Nadu, people are very, very clear. They want to see the kind of works that you've done and the kind of policies that you have. You have no manifesto in place. You're declaring multiple headquarters, multiple capitals.
Let's get a reply from the MNM. Kamal Haasan.
I also want to finish my point. He says in an interview in Tamil, he says, I'm not a full-time politician. So he's declared his lethargy even before he began.
Okay, fine. So the AIADMK has proven, Mr. Kumaravel, that they are not at all happy with this comparison with MGR. Kamal Haasan has gone beyond the comparison and said, I am the true successor of MGR. And I think the AIADMK has demonstrated quite, in a very sharp manner that this is like a, touch me not issue. Don't you dare compare yourself to MGR. They're not happy about this.
Yeah. We would ideally like ADMK to follow MGR in letter and spirit, rather than only using the party what he has started. Even the face of MGR has been diminished by Jayalalitha, and now it has become even tiny. And whenever then somebody else comes and says, hey, these are the philosophies and the mindset and the plus points of MGR, with which people attach, whether it is the regional federalism what he fought for, or whether it is the farmers' right, or whether it is the noon meal scheme what he has done, all the things what MGR propagated and what he has lived and breathed have been completely forgotten. This government is only known as a commission government. MGR is known as a non-corrupt person and is a Bharat Ratna awardee. But what is the state of Tamil Nadu at this point of time? I think we have seen the earlier government, and this is what we have come. Since Kamal Haasan has hit the campaign and there is a tremendous response from the people, the ADMK is now only the end is coming near, and that is what is coming out.
Okay, Apsara, I'll give you a chance to respond. I want to bring Narayan, my friend Narayan, also in on this. Narayan, here on India Today for the last few days, we've been trying to explain to our viewers why this is such a touchy topic. You and I can understand that, but many people will be watching and saying, why did the Chief Minister react in such a vociferous manner? Are you surprised though? Because, MGR, his aura, his the vitality of his image clearly has lost none of its potency.
Well, absolutely, Shiv. I think it bears some explaining. And I was indeed a little bit surprised that the Chief Minister actually countered the claims and the statements of Kamal Haasan this way. The reason is, my own sense was that whether you're talking about Kamal Haasan or Rajini, as someone pointed out here, they have come quite a late stage into the political arena, whatever the commercial success and superstardom they enjoyed on the silver screen.
Yeah.
So, to actually respond to someone, you are in a sense empowering them. And I was really surprised by that, because to me, Edappadi Palaniswamy himself has actually performed in a stellar manner, coming from a relatively unknown status at the time of just before Jayalalitha's passing, and having to, in a sense, prove his credentials once he was put into the Chief Minister's chair after a turbulent period. You remember, of course, the crisis with Sasikala and OPS and breaking off and rebel MLAs.
Absolutely.
All of that, those earthquake movements, tectonic shifting within the party. He has emerged. He has delivered good governance for the last many years, including everything from flood management to the COVID-19 battle. And to me, it was a little surprising that so many months before the May 2021 election, which is the obvious pressure point, he is actually beginning to empower the discourse of Kamal Haasan by saying, responding
Narayan,
to
that's a great point that you're making. Apsara, would you pick up on that? The fact that, this is EPS. He's got nothing to prove. He's got nothing to prove to Kamal Haasan, yet he got triggered by this and inadvertently may have actually validated, empowered Kamal Haasan on this one MGR issue, Apsara.
I think the Chief Minister is well within his right
of course,
to kind of anybody who's usurping Mr. MGR's legacy. Now, talking about the Kamal Haasan party's spokesperson who spoke about using Mr. MGR's political party as our political movement or his photograph, then why is, if it's not that relevant, why is Mr. Kamal Haasan doing so? He can run on his own face value and integrity. Mr. Kamal Haasan has not put any political runs on the table. He's yet to be, he's an unelectable Chief Minister as far as I am concerned, because he's an unelectable who's just intellectualizing his political conversations. But what has he done for the people? Yes, the Chief Minister can ask anybody, what is your credentials? You run a reality television show, which is very controversial. It's very almost voyeuristic, getting into people's lives and I think exposing people's ways. And Kamal Haasan kind of likens it to the entire Tamil Nadu in one of the interviews. He says, this is how Tamil Nadu is. So why does he have to prove it on Bigg Boss? Let him go really to the districts and do it, and villages and do it.
But Apsara,
all these grandiose events and all this digital acoustic kind of manipulation.
But Apsara, invoking Bigg Boss, makes the Chief Minister sound a little defensive. It sounds like he's been triggered by this issue and that it's a very, very touchy topic. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, he didn't need to be, because usually something like this can be just water off a duck's back.
Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy was responding to press reporters in that gathering. I think the bites that came across was just what he said about Bigg Boss. But he responded to a question, and the Chief Minister has risen from a very humble background, has held multiple posts in the political spectrum in the party. He's not just become overnight Chief Minister.
Sure, absolutely. There's no comparison at all.
Chief Minister, he's been a stellar performer of the year with the cyclone, with the corona, and I think opposition has nothing to talk about, because even our economy has grown 8% GDP in the pandemic year. And
sure. Mr. Kumaravel, picking up on what Narayan said, it's an important thing, because, Kamal Haasan has belatedly made this entry into politics. Unlike the other superstar, who I'm talking about, who is yet to make his political entry, Kamal Haasan has done it. He's floated a political party. You're part of it. Elections have been fought, etc., etc. The organization is being built up. Is it the case that Kamal Haasan has picked up on this MGR issue because perhaps there's nothing else to pick up on? He needs someone like an MGR to boost his own image, given that there is this void right now, and perhaps his own stardom is not enough?
No, it is not that we want to score a point and take
because he has said MGR away. Not.
No, we are very upset, and we are very upset that the AIADMK is not following the MGR's philosophies and MGR's principle. That's what we are highlighting. It is not that we want to hijack MGR to our party. We have got our own vision of making the state into a 1 trillion economy. We have come out of how we will going to develop the skill development. We have told what we will do for the women. How we will develop the women. We have what we will do for the education. How we will go about the agriculture and the healthcare. Everything.
But Mr. Kumarvel, Kamal Haasan said, I am the true successor of MGR. That's a little different from, saying I will give governance like MGR, which is actually what Rajinikanth said.
Yes, in a way, he is the true successor because he is also from the first movie. He has acted with MGR, and MGR in so many ways, even in the award function, told that hard work never fails, and Kamal Haasan is one of the hardest working person. He has invited him to join the politics even when he was around. He made the Rasigar Mandrams, which is the fan clubs, into the welfare associations, and so many things he has done very differently. He was never interested in power. He was only interested in ensuring the state is doing well. Because of the anger, because of the problems what the Dravidian parties, two of them have made and successfully put the Tamil Nadu in the downward spiral, then that is when we are forced to get in. Otherwise, we don't have any business of getting into politics. We have got our own ways of conducting our life.
Okay, but but this issue has become very emotive. Narayan, before I come to you, I want to get a quick response from Apsara. Apsara, is the AIADMK annoyed by this? Because everyone knows that this upcoming election is going to be the first one post the, the demise of, the stellar politicians like Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi, who both were from the, the film industry themselves. So in many ways, there is a void right now. So is that why the AIADMK has reacted in this manner? Because perhaps the MGR legacy is actually up for grabs, and there is a proximity that Kamal Haasan has shared with MGR over the years?
See, Mr. Kamal Haasan in that vernacular interview itself says that MGR asked him if he wanted to come into politics. He denies being invited himself. So this is back to what Mr. Kamal Haasan said in the interview, that I wasn't invited, but I was asked if I wanted to join politics, and I expressed my displeasure at that time. Now, moving on from that, I think even by virtue of being a film star and enjoying a mass audience, Madam Jayalalitha or Mr. MGR or Mr. Karunanidhi or any film star has put in the hard yards in politics. They understand the caste politics, the nuances of district level politics, and they've traveled the length and breadth of Tamil Nadu, and they've risen in the political hierarchy.
Okay.
Where here we have superstars trying to follow in Mr. MGR's steps, anointing themselves chief ministers just by starting political parties. And this is alarming to me, the amount of greed and kind of starry-eyed visions that they have of themselves. I mean, they might say, we're coming here to serve the people. We are not interested in power. Like Mr. Kamal Haasan said, I don't want to become chief minister. I'm here just to serve the people.
I want to, Narayan, since you are a dispassionate observer in all of this, it's been 34 years since the death of MGR. How much of a commodity is the legacy of MGR going to be in this election? Looking at it from a distance, one is wondering, what kind of potency it has as far as voters is concerned. Is that something that's going to be real as far as attracting voters is concerned? Who is the real person who represents the MGR legacy, so to speak?
No, I think that's a brilliant question, Shiv, because that gets to the heart of the matter. And that is the following, which is the very mention of MGR and his legacy is actually a way to signal what the Dravidian movement has become today. And it stands only for one thing, which is Tamil exceptionalism. And Tamil exceptionalism basically means that the common man and woman on the road, the Tamil person, is deserving of and is used to receiving and is very much part of an institutional system of give and take. And yes, like you said earlier in your presentation, it is about mass welfare schemes. Yeah. It is about welfare politics. It is also about very unusual features such as controlling the liquor industry. It is also about, giveaways. It is about a lot of different things. And yes, the film industry is also embroiled in that. But the struggle, the battle over MGR's name and legacy today is basically to see which party can signal that it is the true legacy of that Tamil exceptionalism in terms of the leadership. Can Kamal Haasan actually say he is the one to wave that flag? He is the one who will bring what the Tamil people expect and deserve in the future? Or can Edapadi now, by responding, battle him at the hustings and say, no, look, I am part of this movement and party which is actually part of the Dravidian movement. I am the only one who can deliver this.
Okay.
And in that, of course, he's also going to face competition from the DMK.
I want to just get 20-second final comments from each one of you. Apsara, first I'll go to Mr. Kumarvel. Given that this MGR issue was started by Kamal Haasan and it's gotten certain traction, and I acknowledge the irony that I'm saying it given that I've been paying a lot of attention to it on my show, but is this something that's going to become a fixture in Kamal Haasan's campaigning now, MGR?
Yeah, Nalai Namade and the MGR, the good nature of MGR and the graciousness of MGR and the magnanimity of the MGR and the rationalism of MGR is something which we want to follow, and that will become one of our bold plank in the coming elections.
Apsara, it looks like MGR is going to be very much part of the conversation. I mean, many people would say, there are 6 months to go. Why are temperatures so high already in Tamil Nadu with all these spats breaking out? But, MGR ultimately was the founder of your party.
We're really thrilled that our party icon and our party founder, Mr. M.G. Ramachandran, is holding such a sway that we have even film stars turning copycats this election season. All copycats will be sent home, and AIDMK will talk to the government for sure. I think time will tell. Now all this over-enthusiastic dialogue bazing will meet its end.
Narayan, who benefits more from this conversation? Last word to you, Narayan. The AIADMK, do they benefit from MGR becoming a hot topic, a buzz topic, or do the people invoking him benefit more? Tough question, I know, but your view.
My view, Shiv, is that it is really up for grabs in that the Tamil Nadu voter is now at a crossroads. And really, it is their opportunity to really choose whether they want to continue with the past and the Dravidianist legacy of the AIADMK and the DMK, or whether they want to break with that and speak the new language of new politics of whether you're talking about Kamal and Rajni or even Modi and the BJP. They talk about governance-related issues, but they also have their own ideologies, or they bring baggage from the cinematic side of things. So the Tamil voter is the one I'm watching with great interest at this moment to see who they pick in May 2021, because they will signal the new direction for the whole state.
It's going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait for this, the restrictions of this pandemic to lift so I can come back to the state that I grew up in, cover the big campaign and the elections, and I'm sure I'll see all of you in person as well. Apsara, Mr. Kumarvel, Narayan, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. An issue that is really so interesting. Now I'm going to tell our viewers what that MGR legacy is all about. You're still maybe wondering. I'm sure I've made it quite clear. But the MGR legacy is something that is huge in Tamil Nadu. And that's the reason why it's become such a hot topic. Take a look at M.G. Ramachandran's journey in politics. And from that to the icon he's become even today. The original superstar Neta of Indian politics. Iconic on screen and even more iconic off it. A man who towered over all others. A personality who proved that the jump from the silver screen to the political battlefield could bring mind-blowing dividends. Launching a meteoric rise through its ranks and deploying his enormous star power to build a massive political following and base. In 1972, MGR walked out of the DMK, turning his erstwhile film industry colleague, fellow DMK leader and friend Karunanidhi into a lifelong rival. MGR knew he was too big to play number 2 to anyone else, so he founded the AIADMK to take on his former party, triggering a vicious and enduring political binary in Tamil Nadu politics. Just 5 years after he founded the AIADMK, MGR stormed to power in 1977, decimating the DMK and becoming India's first cinema superstar to become a chief minister. MGR would lead his party to thumping victories in 1980 and then again in 1984. In between, in 1982, fellow film star and protege J. Jayalalitha would join the party and take over the reins of the AIADMK in 1987 when MGR died aged 70 from kidney failure. MGR's funeral and Samadhi at Chennai's Marina Beach remain the most iconic events in Tamil Nadu politics. With superstar Kamal Haasan using his on and off-screen proximity to MGR in the past as a platform to suggest that Kamal is MGR's true successor.
இல்லை யாரை பற்றி சொல்கிறீங்க? எம்ஜிஆர் அவர்களை பற்றி சொல்கிறீர்களா, என்னை பற்றி சொல்கிறீங்களா? சரி, ஏன்னா ரெண்டும் கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரே இனத்தை சேர்ந்தவர்கள் தான். நடிகர் இனம் என்று சொல்லிக்கொண்டால் அதையும் பார்க்க வருவாங்க, அதை தாண்டியும் பார்ப்பார்கள். அப்படி பார்த்ததனால் தான் அவர் புரட்சி தலைவரானார்.
Unsurprisingly, the AIADMK has rudely dismissed Kamal's attempt to own the MGR legacy.
The people can say their personal name. Okay. But as a party, AIADMK only is having the right. So, totally, Tamil Nadu people mind is Kamal is totally an opportunist.
The MGR factor has been unignorable in Tamil Nadu's new superstar politics, with even Rajinikanth compelled to invoke the yesteryear star.
சத்தியமாக யாரோ எம்ஜிஆர் ஆக முடியாது. எம்ஜிஆர் ஒரு யுக புருஷர். ஆனால் அவர் கொடுத்த அந்த நல்லாட்சி, அந்த ஏழைகளுக்கான ஆட்சி, சாமானிய மக்களுக்கான ஆட்சி, மத்தியஸ்தர குடும்பங்களுக்கான ஆட்சி என்னால கொடுக்க முடியுங்கிற நம்பிக்கை எனக்கு. தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு ஒரு தலைமை தேவை, ஒரு தலைவன் தேவை. அந்த இடத்தை நான் ஏற்படுத்த நான் வர்றேன்.
The war over MGR isn't surprising, especially when you remember that this will be the first election in the state since the passing away of sinister politicians Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi. And that's why the ghosts of icons past are alive and well on the campaign trail. MGR would be smiling, perhaps with his iconic victory gesture. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.